This is Shiprock, and it's in New Mexico. If, as I'm starting to believe, America is the old world of the Old Testament and Atlantis, which was called Eagle Land or Egypt, then I need to re-examine these native myths. They're going to take on a lot more significance. In one prominent Navajo legend, the ancestral people were fleeing from warring tribes to the north. A group of medicine men prayed for deliverance, and the ground beneath them transformed into a giant bird that carried them south for an entire day and night. When the bird landed at sunset in northwestern New Mexico, it turned to stone, becoming the landmark we see today. The long rock dikes stretching along the main peak are said to be its outstretched wings. This is really strange. Was this like a giant, was it a stabilizer of a giant ship or like a helicopter? I have no idea. According to some versions, people lived on this ship, climbing down only to farm and collect water. And that seems like if you landed in a desolate place with enemies around, you would probably stay with your ship. But one day, a lightning strike destroyed the path, stranding and killing the women and children who are left up on top. For this reason, the Navajo forbid climbing the peak, fearing it would disturb the ghost of those who perished. Okay, so somehow the women and children got cut off when the men went out to hunt, and that they perished. So did they knock out the elevator system or the stairs, or who knows? But the lightning strike definitely sounds like a war. Bringing this mythology into a high technological civilization, I can see a ship that is literally turned to rock, and that's what it's called. In the Slavic Vedas, they talk about how the red people of Atlantis were airlifted out of the area to save them. I believe Edgar Cayce said the same thing, and he said that after the second destruction on Atlantis, people moved to Colorado. Now, the wings of this bird ship could have been some sort of above-ground tunnel system, or the ship could have been the stabilizing legs that might have been hollow. The lightning strike sounds like an invasion. Maybe this Shiprock was some sort of mothership used to transport people away from what was happening in the north, which leads me to believe the invasion might have come from the north. I don't know how this could have happened. I thought that Mount Meru, and that was all Eden and the Holy Lands, but maybe there was an opening where an invasion could have taken place, because that was a portal. Is Mount Meru a world tree with its roots going down into the underworld? Were these roots used to transport the invaders into our realm, which would have had them coming from the north? So there's also talk of how Russia was overrun and they all fled south. So the people in the north were certainly fleeing from something. And was this Shiprock really a giant mothership, or could it have been a tree that the people escaped into, and they went through a tunnel system and came out into this tree? Because it certainly looks like a giant tree to me, besides being a ship.